Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here from the Seeds of Transformation. I'm here with Ona from Ona's Tarot. Hi, Ona.
How are you?
I am hot and sweaty.
You look like the little Leo, spokesperson there, the
I'm
orange.
trying. I'm trying. I
Yeah.
wanted to have big Leo hair, and when I tried to do that, it was just a big Leo disaster hair. So this is it. This is it. But I did put my amber on, and I think that really brings it all together.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at this new moon in Leo. Very exciting new moon in Leo, right? As the sun comes off its meetup with Venus retrograde, right? We had that Venus in the heart of the sun just yesterday, because today is the 14th. That
Yeah.
happened yesterday
Yes.
at 21 degrees of Leo, which is the Sabian symbol talks about crazy chickens in that one. Did you feel like a crazy chicken yesterday?
Yes. Intoxicated chickens flapping their wings. I can't remember. I saw it in a couple of sources and I'm like, oh my gosh, it so feels like me. Like, I know that's what I look like too.
You
Because I
look,
tried to get on the elevator to take the picture at the right time that Venus and the sun are, you know, yes. And that was exactly what it's like. Just the whole in general these days. I totally empathize with the crazy chicken.
yeah, so don't I. It's funny because 21 degrees of Leo is my ascendant. So that's my Sabian symbol for my ascendant, the crazy chicken, intoxicated chicken. I
Yeah.
was I was a little crazy, but I was not at all intoxicated yesterday. So
Well, that's why your hair is not cooperating the way you want it to today.
I know maybe I should be intoxicated.
That's
We
all.
do not suggest that for anyone out there, by the way.
No, absolutely not. Mm-mm.
So I know your life has been rather eventful.
Yeah.
These new moons and gateways and nodal shifts and everything have really moved you into a new direction, has it not?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a real face your fear kind of year for not just me, but as we start to talk about it, a lot of people in our lives are like, this is what I want. There's kind of a no stopping me energy out there. Worker strikes, like things like that. It seems to be accelerating. And I think
Right.
maybe this new moon can help us focus on exactly what it is, maybe. Oh,
Well,
what do you think?
I think part of the reason for what you just said is the nodal shift into Aries, right? The North Node in Aries. What do I want? What is it that who am I? It's all about the I. And of course, in order to get to the I, we have to move through the we,
Yeah.
because we have to move through that south node. And with Pluto squaring it and the south node being the resolution to the square, we can't really come to terms with our own sense of personal power until we examine the relationships that we have had and are having, and our own relationship to power before we can move into something new.
Yeah.
There's a lot of renegotiation going on, and I think that renegotiation has to do not just with relationships, but even like you renegotiating where you're living. Like you've
Yeah.
renegotiated your life. You're like, I don't want to live in this space anymore.
Right.
And I'm going to live in this space. Like your space now is more horizontal than
Yep.
it is up and down, even though you're going to be higher up in the sky. Your
Mhm.
life itself is much more horizontal. You don't have to make as many stairs, right?
No,
And
none.
so there's an ease that comes with that. And I think, Leo is somewhat of an ease loving sign. I mean, if you've ever seen a lion, they just loll, especially male lions, they just loll around waiting for the females to come and feed them, really. It's the females that get all like, they're the ones
Yes.
that have the killer instinct here,
Much
which is
more aggressive.
right, which is actually very interesting, because I think men are getting a little nervous about all of that, honestly.
They
But
should.
only men who have something to be nervous about. I don't see it in every man.
There's involvement with Eris in this moon that's very profound too. Did you know that this strain of COVID is named Eris?
Is it? You
I
know what
swear
else?
to God, and I did not text you on that. Yes. I'm like, of course she is.
They were talking about on television, they were talking about Taylor Swift, who I don't know anything about Taylor
Yeah.
Swift, honestly. But her tour is called the Eris Tour,
Yes.
but it's ERAS. And I thought to myself, well, yeah, that's
Mhm.
interesting. It would be interesting to look at her chart.
Yeah.
You know,
I
I don't
noticed
have
that
it, but I
too.
think
Yeah.
she might be my next in the news segment is Taylor Swift. I might get a lot of people watching
And
that.
I'll tell you what, I think there's a lot of validity to that because her concert or her tour here in Chicago brought in more revenue than, I don't know, the last 4
Well,
years.
more revenue than
COVID.
what was the thing you had in Chicago?
Oh, NASCAR, we lost money
NASCAR.
in NASCAR.
Yeah,
It fell right out of us. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, streets and sand and the disposition of civil servants and traffic, it costs the city money to have stupid cars drive fast.
Right.
I don't like that. Yeah.
So let's take a quick look at the chart. I'm gonna share the screen that I from my week ahead thing, just because I
Okay.
have the Sabian symbol on it. So just give me a second here. Sometimes this just is not, oh gosh. Come on. Oh, okay. I see what I'm doing. I see what I'm doing wrong. Well, that's it. That's different. So now this one happens here on the East Coast, 5:38 in the morning. So it's happening on the 16th, but there are places where I think it's happening on the 15th. And I think that might be Australia. So
Yeah.
if you're in Australia, so the vibration is a little different.
Yeah.
For those people where it falls on the 15th, the vibration is a 30/3, which is the Four of Wands. Not as, let's say, chaotic as for those of us where it falls on the 16th, and that's the Five of Wands.
Yeah.
So the Sabian symbol for this new moon is totally concentrated upon inner spiritual attainment. A man is sitting in a state of complete neglect of bodily appearance and cleanliness. Well, I know how that feels.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I look like this. The interior focalization of energy and consciousness at the expense of all forms of outward activity and care. This is what Roger says about this. He says this traditional image of a Hindu holy man in the typical Western mind may well hide the fact that without proper training and intense concentration, what we usually consider spiritual attainment, self-realization as the God experience, is not possible. The intoxicated chicken of the Leo 21, which happens to be where Venus conjoins the sun, right? A symbol must learn self-discipline if they want to fly. There can be no halfway measures if the goal of true yoga is to be reached. And the key word here is total concentration. And so I think that is a suggestion to us to concentrate your energy and your focus on what you want to bring into your life. And it doesn't have to be a thing necessarily. I think it has to be a sense of peace of mind, a sense of a full heart, a sense of lack of anxiety. Like, can I do it? Should I do it? Am I doing the right thing? Like, we have to find this place of peace.
Yeah.
Within the storm. Now, as we sit here, right, you're in the middle of a big storm, right, in Chicago today?
Yep. Oh my gosh. Well, it looks like the sun's going to come out now, but no, it was horizontal, heavy rain. And the range in this area is anywhere between 5 inches and, maybe 2.5, depending on where the cloud is sweeping by. But that's what it's been like. It's not where we have like the steady rain all day. We have a deluge and it's gone. Now I know hurricane season is about this time, right?
I think
Is it
so, yeah.
September it starts?
I
So
think it
we're
might start in
little-
August, because Katrina was like August 29th, I think. So it starts in August, I believe.
Yeah. So yeah, weird little events like that. And that taxes the system because a lot of rain at one time, it's like living in the desert. With, they'll float away.
Yeah.
There's no way for the drainage to go.
Right. And where there isn't floods, there's fire.
Yeah. So
And
how is that popular in the chart? It's all fire
a
and
lot
water.
of fire.
Can't breathe though. Can I breathe? I cannot
Well,
breathe.
the south node is in Libra, and I think some of the maybe asteroids might be in air. Vesta is in Gemini right now. So there is a little bit of air, but the air comes with the feminine energy. So if we look at this chart, this is for Washington, D.C., as I always do. Apologies to anybody who's anywhere else. This is sort of the America chart, right? And we have this in the first house. We have the sun and the moon conjunct 24 degrees, conjunct Black Moon Lilith, trine the North Node. So there's a lot of energy to that self-actualization, right? That self-actualization of the North Node. Sextile the South Node, because anything that's trine the North Node is going to, for the most part, sextile the South Node. So there's opportunities here to Leo is about love and relationship, right? Love and relationship. And even if you're not in a relationship to a particular person, you're in a relationship to yourself. So what are you giving to yourself here? What are you allowing for yourself? I think that's something to think about. And then, although it's not on this chart, we have Eris. Eris and Black Moon Lilith have a similar energy. It's like, I'm not going to take this anymore. And it is feminine energy. And the earth is feminine, right? Mother Nature. And she has a lot to say right now. And is trying to get our attention, I think. And of course, you and I, she has our attention.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
And it's happening. It's just like I described. I know it trickles down to what is the weather like, how much, how bad are allergies and things like that, what's coming up, but it is definitely related to how we're, not taking care of it the way we're supposed to.
Yeah. And I'm just like, this whole South node being the resolution node for Pluto squaring the nodes and renegotiating our relationships includes our relationship with Mother Earth.
Yeah.
And how we extract and take and take and take and abuse and abuse and abuse. And we can see that being seen in the way we treat women in general, or people of color, or, it's not just here, it's, wherever you look, there's, somebody who's on top and somebody who's getting beaten. And I think that's not the way of the future, for sure. Or it's certainly not the way of a successful future.
Yeah.
And I think these are things that we have to look at. Now,
I have to say, I've got probably like 90% of the emergency room population in having a diabetic episode of something on the range. Relationships, family relationships, diabetes. I'm like, it doesn't feel like a Leo moon, but now it makes sense with the Libra South Node as the only outlet for some real deep stuff.
Diabetes is associated with not having enough sweetness in life. And so you try to eat it. but because your life isn't sweet in itself. And I can't think of anything sweeter in life than the combination of Leo and Libra, right?
Yeah.
Right, when you think about it.
Yeah.
And when you have diabetes, you know, as a like a remedy for diabetes is to eat bitter things like broccoli rabe and just like bitter herbs and those things to help to balance the sweetness. And the thing is with diabetes, right? There's the sugar in the blood, but it can't get into the cells. And so
Yeah.
you can't. It's like you can't feed yourself
Right.
that, and that's something we need to sort of look at as well. I
It
think.
is. It is. So it's interesting. And then, because I see some things in the chart as completely related to what's happening in the human body. And then I have a small little sample of demographic to
Right.
validate or make me think, this is more like a fall type of issue, or what's going on right now. It is really how the nature, your earth is just the barometer of how you're going to react after having COVID twice.
How you feeling with that?
Fine.
We were
I'm not-
just having it in the pre-call. We were talking about how COVID isn't what it used to be. Thank God.
yeah.
Thank God. So as far as what do you say for now? I know you probably don't have an altar because you're in the middle of moving from one altar space to another.
Yeah.
Do you still have your sunflowers out?
I don't think so. There was one that I had that looks like it's kind of tilting over, but that was just from the pigeon poop. It wasn't like a planted one. And I had one in a little container that got attacked by the pigeons, so I moved it out front, and it's raining pretty heavy, so I might get some life out of it, but I'm trying to detach myself from the plants on the balcony.
Right. Well, if
So
say you wanted to adorn your altar, I think a sunflower is a beautiful symbol, and it's also the symbol for the Ukraine, which I never really made the connection, but yeah, it's like this whole Ukrainian thing is like grasping for the sun, grasping for the power, grasping for the life. And I think that we have to remember that, because even though it's thousands of miles away, it's the seed that's there needs to be nurtured.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know where that just came out of, where that comes out of, but so I think a sunflower on your altar.
I think I'll try sunflower, and I will try as much air as possible. So I got a little idea what I want to do for this new moon altar. So we'll see, because there's like no air in there.
Let me I'm gonna do a different share now,
It's
maybe
hard to
if I
breathe.
can figure it out. Actually, let me do this. I don't want to share the wrong thing here. How do I get rid of this? Okay. I've only been working with Zoom for like 4 years. You think I know how to do it by now?
Oh, I
So
couldn't.
we're gonna look at each other, and I want to add the asteroids, because I want to like look at where we can breathe, where we have the opportunity to
Yes.
take in a breath, because it is very heavy. There's a lot of water, there's a lot of earth, and there's a lot of air, and I mean fire. I mean, what happened in Hawaii?
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about that is Maui, because all of the Hawaiian Islands are the chakras. There's seven, and there's 7 chakras.
You said
Maui
this
is the
morning,
sacral
yeah.
chakra.
Yeah, you said that this morning.
Moon.
That's just, it's like crazy that's what's on fire right now. Or just changing. I mean, was this supposed to occur? Whether it was accelerated by people
Well, it's
or
hard,
not.
it had happened. And so was it supposed to happen? It happened. And I think that there is a sense where it happened was the original, like the original capital of the Hawaiian people. So it's right at the core of the indigenous population, right? And so this is a cry that we have to pay attention to the indigenous, right?
So same kind of idea that these are the people that they're not in their like $1 million yachts and stuff. These are the people that actually work there.
Yeah, these are the people whose land we stole, honestly. But there were a lot of just regular, folk that lived there or have lived there or moved there. A lot of people retired there. A lot of the people
Mhm.
that I think we're going to find out passed away were retirees who couldn't get out of the way fast enough. I mean, people with legs and full on health couldn't get out of the flame. It was like a conflagration.
I have to be
Unbelievable.
fair when I say that always the poor people never get warned ahead of time and things like that, but it does, things like that move so rapidly that you don't know what you're saying until you're there. There was such very little movement for people to evacuate, and when it accelerated as quickly as it did, I'm sure it was horrible.
Yeah.
Right, Pearl? New moon.
I'm glad Pearl is there to help us celebrate. I think Charlie's outside being a bad boy, doing, hanging around, slinking around the yard.
Yep.
All right. I'm just trying to like do two things at once, like talk to you and then actually do something I'm supposed to be doing, which is never a good idea. But I think I have it now. Okay. So let's share this. Oh boy, I'm hot. And not in the old good way either. Just
Yeah.
this girl is on fire.
We're expecting a huge weather change. Like it'll be in the 90s this
Oh
weekend,
no.
with like in heat indices in the hundreds, and I'm gonna have open house. So much fun. Such a big waste of energy. This is why I need to get out of here. Number one, door will be open all day long.
Okay, so there is just a little bit of air, just a little bit. We have Vesta in air, and she does sextile this. She makes a sextile to the new moon. She makes a wide trine to the south node, and we have Ceres in Libra, so that's good. So that's it. We have the south node, Ceres, Vesta, and if you add the earth, because if the sun is in Leo, the earth is in Aquarius, we might be able to include that in that, and of course air potentiates the fire, right? This is potentiation. This is really asking us to focus on what's in our minds, right? Like we really have to concentrate on what we want to see in the world, in our lives. How do we want to feel? It's not about stopping war, but it's about fostering peace, right?
Yeah. And ready for distractions. I think when your vision is clear, I think there are more distractions that kind of come your way and making you second guess yourself. Wouldn't this be a good like new moon to put on your new moon altar, it says stop second guessing yourself, maybe.
Certainty. I'm certain things are good. Well, Leo is not always, but Leo can be a very optimistic sign, sunny, right?
Yeah.
It's ruled by the sun. So it does matter. And it's about joy. So anything that's going to bring joy, it's also about children. So hang out with your grandchildren, hang out with your friends' kids, watch them play, you play. When I was when things would get really heavy for me, I had bunnies, and I used to just sit and watch the bunnies.
Yeah.
And I could sit there and watch them for hours. They would just hop around. They do little bunny cleaning themselves. They're very fastidious, very much like cats in that way. And then they kick their heels up and they just hop. And they're just so in the moment and so like happy.
Yeah.
So anything like that, I think, is good, because we can look around and say, oh my God, look at all this suffering. Look at what people are going through. We can have compassion for that, and we can do what we can do to help them in whatever way we can. But it doesn't help us to be maudlin. We have to find the joy in the moment that we're in. So I'm gonna pull the chart down, and we'll talk a little bit more about the altar. And I want to pull a card. I don't know you're putting stuff away. I don't know if you have a card if you want to pull something.
They've got my core thing and then a couple of decks that I had, kind of slipped away, and I'm like, oh, these are kind of neat. So not everything's gone. Certainly the ones that I haven't used in a long time are put away, but I got the Klimt deck because I thought it's got a lot of gold in it.
Oh, that's good.
All the gold
It's
stuff,
good.
Klimt, and the eyes, it's all about the sun there, sunspots. And it felt very Neptunian, so I got the Dolly deck too, but I have the Oracle deck, the Starseed, very handy. If you just want to do Oracle.
I am going to pull from the Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards.
Okay.
So, but also on my altar, I'm putting some golden calcite.
Yeah.
I love this piece of calcite. Calcite is for spontaneity and joy. And then some orange calcite for creativity. This is connected to the sacral chakra. So if you want to do like a blessing altar for the people in Hawaii, I would put orange things on to help to heal that sacral chakra.
Yeah.
And the sacral chakra is where we take stuff in, and enough.
Yeah, definitely. And it just, that is just so crazy. I can't even tell you. I've been to Maui. It's beautiful. And
I've never been to Hawaii, but the two best places in America for me to live is Northern California and the Mendocino National Forest, and Maui. Both places are on fire.
Well,
it looks like I'm going to be staying in Massachusetts a little.
Your son there, right? And if you were living there, your astrocartography chart would say, get out of there.
Maybe. Yeah. You might be right about that. One of the other things I didn't mention about this new moon is that it's square Uranus in Taurus. Very, very tightly.
Yeah.
Very tightly. And it's a first quarter crisis in action square to the sun moon from Uranus. So this is about taking actions to build foundations for a new way of living. That's really what this is about. And you can see that even in your own life. You're moving into a new way of living.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do I have? It says, seer, see beyond the current situation. That's the card I got.
Oh, I like that.
I know these cards are beautiful. I'll read what the book says because, you know,
Okay. Yeah.
but what did you get?
I got the King of Wands. I don't know how, but it was the first card.
Aries, fire. The
Yes.
king is dominion. Dominion over fire, dominion over your own fire.
Yes.
The fire that burns in your heart.
For everything that the King of Wands what represents this Leo new moon, and he's really pretty and he has eyes all over his outfit. So this is good. I like that.
So utilizing your intuition,
Yeah.
right? All the eyes.
Yes.
Look beyond your current situation, raise your vibration and focus on love.
What is the name of your card? Seer?
Seer,
Okay, and he's got eyes all over his robe. His king
right.
robes have eyes all over it. So seeing that, well, that's the theme for sure.
It
Wow.
says most indigenous people have a seer in the family or tribe. Seers are the intelligent and intuitive beings who serve as direct channels for information on what's occurring now and what's about to unfold. Their energy isn't about predicting your future for you, but about showing you how your intentions are creating it. A true seer will help you see that your intentions can change, therefore so can your future. The message of this card is to let the clairvoyant within you rise up so that you can see the way forward yourself with your spiritual eyes.
Yeah.
All of them on your outfit.
Yep.
How very Leo to include an outfit.
Right. With eyes all over it. I like that.
I see a project happening when you're in your new place.
I've been, everybody, a lot of the stuff I sell, like the earrings with the eyes in them, I have to restock those regularly. Do I have one here? No,
I have one you made.
eyeglass cases with the eyes, I have to restock those regularly. I
Yes.
packed see the eye in there. I've been doing eye stuff for a while. That's really interesting. So it is that third eye kind of thing could be part of it too, opening that, but maybe seeing through your heart. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing, like seeing through your heart. What does your heart see?
When you look at people from that place, it changes. It does change. People who you're like, I can't believe that person is such a, get out of your head and get into your heart, because that's really what Leo is about anyway.
Yeah.
And see what you see, because you might see something different. You might see something different.
I don't think we have to talk about any like dark side of Leo stuff. Leo's a pretty cool, it's a pretty cool
Well, it's
channel.
pretty obvious what the dark side of Leo is. We had it for president and for 4 years.
Yeah.
It's that narcissistic, but that comes from a place of woundedness. That doesn't come from somebody with somebody in their heart doesn't come from that place. Right.
Yeah.
It's just not, it's just, you can't, when you put it through that filter, it changes everything.
Yeah.
And if you're a heart-centered person, you think and see things differently than most people. And look at that. We have our own little lion.
He's, you know what? Don't let him fool you. He's asking me to kick Giblets out of the bed because he doesn't want Giblets. He doesn't want to mess with him that much. But you know what? I'm not going to help you. You're on your own. They have this whole little theater, those two now. Or maybe I'm just getting like really sort of possessive about my animals and, apologetic because they're kind of stressed out a little bit. And
Yeah, well, you're moving stuff. You're taking stuff away. You're packing stuff. They know a change is coming, and You have to do your best to, I mean, it stresses you out. So imagine what it does to
Yeah.
the animals' environments.
It's really hard. It's hard to have a stress-free environment, but you know what? I can like do a little radio with music when I'm not home. My mom always used to do that. Shoot, did you see he just bit me? She would leave the radio on for the dog. So he'd have like company.
He bit you when you mentioned your mom.
Well, she was like the cat lady. She had all those balls of yarn in her room, right? Pearl, no, Pearl's just like that. He could like he's just like that. He'll just bite you and walk away.
So lesson to be learned. We may get irritated and nip at people. It's okay. It's a way of knowing that enough is enough. That's what cats will usually do that if you pat them too much. They'll be like,
Yeah,
"Oh, overstimulated," like that.
yeah,
Charlie does it all the time.
yeah. That's exactly what he does. When he like I didn't pick up on the signal that I needed to pause in between.
Loving them.
Yeah, scratching him. Hey, you got a little window here.
This is the window you can love me in.
This is how much time I have to scratch you. Get all the scratches you can, and then and then I might end up grooming him, and that would be like, oh God.
That would be a very Leo thing to do, but you might have to put a pair of chainmail gloves on for that.
Yeah, yeah. The allergy season is kind of weird out here. How about over there?
It depends on the day. I find when it's smoky, they're worse. Or I smell smoke, or
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
worse. It's been
yeah.
a bad season, but the air quality hasn't been that good because of all the fires and the smoke and the particulate matter and all of that. So
I know, but you know what? Your trees, your apple trees are like,
crazy.
who sprinkled what in the grass there?
It's just certain things do better in certain years. It's just whatever fairies are. And of course, we probably need apples in our diet. That's why they're coming up the way they are. We need to have more apple stuff. And apples have a lot of aspirin in them, salicylic acid in
Yeah,
apples.
arsenic is what's made from the pits.
That's right. So don't do that. But there's and also pectin in the apple is really good for your colon. It really helps to like take out toxins.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of toxins.
I see
There's a lot of
that.
toxins in the air between what's burning and all the pollution, and it's getting blown around the planet pretty fiercely.
Yeah. So it's interesting that we mark this as typically the time of year when we have fewer planets in air and we get these hurricanes. Like we just have these little windows of opportunity where it's just what generates the storm.
Right. And things will loosen up come October, because then things will go into Libra.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Where the south node's hanging out.
Right, Mars will be there. Mars will be in Libra, so there'll be more breathing space. But right now, it does feel a little suffocating, I have to say. And we're going to have to just breathe where we can. Keep breathing, folks. Keep breathing.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. Is there anything you want to add? Did you want to pick a starseed?
Let me get it. If I can unstretch my legs. And you don't hear, if I didn't step on potato chips, that's just my knees. It's so bad.
I would, if I had to do what you just did, I'd be grunting. Like you wouldn't hear any cracks. The sounds.
It's
it sound like I was at a pig farm.
This, to sit like this is a very comfortable position. Getting out of it is like, what were you
thinking?
What were you
I know
thinking?
the other day I
So
was like, I used to
stupid.
like to sit on my leg, and just like sit with my leg up and my other leg, I used to do all these like yoga moves, like as I was sitting on the
Yes.
couch. I just did it the other day and then I moved. I was like, oh my God, what just happened?
Not smart.
I forgot I wasn't like 20.
Yes. Oh, my tendon is
Oh,
bent a little, right? So I've got this finger, Saturn finger, doing this like thing across
your
the
fickle
keyboard.
finger of fate is a little bit crooked.
It was making a mess on the keyboard when I had it splinted properly. So, I threw the splint out and I put a ring on the finger. I'm like, this is how we're going to deal with it right now, because that was aggravating. New moon. And it really is, there's so much sun energy. Since I took that picture outside the window, that's where the file opens.
Maybe I'll use that picture. Would it be okay if I use that
Oh,
picture for the?
please do, please,
Okay.
please. Any picture I send you there that's like a cool pic, you have I have no possession over these pictures I post.
You have a better camera. I can't take pictures of the moon and stuff. It just comes out terrible. I'm gonna get a new phone though. Uh-oh, what'd we
I
get?
really think where we went, it says big picture thinking.
Big picture thinking. Yeah,
This is
step
how
back. Step back and see the big picture. Yeah, I like
This
that.
is just how things fall into place. The big picture thinking. This is so funny. We were just talking about that. Let me try and attempt to,
Read it.
yes, if you don't mind,
No.
because this is really helping me get through the new moon stuff that I know how to, what I need to focus on, when I need to leave. Pleiades energy, anybody, right? Visionary, inspired ideas. The Palladians are our cosmic cousins. They're here to remind us that it's never too late to learn new things that change the future. You're being called to be a visionary for the planet, to take the breath, shake off what you may have been taught about the world, and hold a new vision for humanity. There's more, but I think I like this visionary thing, and what I wrote earlier to kind of get myself into this space and see what kind of thing smells was coming to the realization that it's different than what you were trained to believe. So you're starting to realize that you were trained to believe a certain thing that may not hold true to you anymore. And there it is, the Palladian energy, the big picture. I like it.
Wonderful.
I like that it's overlooking the lake too. With the
Well,
cute.
on that note, guys, keep your eye open. See your future from
Yeah.
your heart.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. It's always a pleasure to spend time with you guys. Thank you so much, Owen. I always appreciate. I know how difficult this was to put some time in, because you are a busy lady, and I want you to know that I appreciate you and I love you, and I love all of you out there.
Yeah. Love you too, honey. Thank you so much. Thank you. I love this. This is like going to the dog park for me. It's like, I can't wait. I can't wait. I was sitting waiting for about 20 minutes before we started.
You're like, is it time?
I
Is it
love
time?
it. Yeah, because it brings me back to,
What matters?
it's more than just trying to rush. I'm rushing by things that I shouldn't rush by.
Well, once you're settled, it'll change.
Yeah.
So give yourself this, step back, look at the big picture, right?
Yeah.
All right. Take care, everyone. Namaste. Oops.